One of the most important things I've had to learn over the years is emotional self-control, and this is part of the self-management bit of emotional intelligence. To me, once the important bit is the self-awareness, is obviously being aware what parts of us we've got to build, but then it comes to emotional self-control, because if you are in a situation where you're either leading people or you're a team member or you're a freelancer or anything, you've got to be able to self-manage. And you've got to be able to deal with your emotions. Now, what this doesn't mean, and this is really important, it does not mean stifling your emotions, becoming bulletproof, being one of those people that doesn't show any vulnerability in any situation. Because to be honest, if you do that, A, people are going to find you quite tedious, and B, they're not going to be able to relate to you. You've got to be a human, and people can empathize with you, and you can empathize with other people if you can understand other people's vulnerabilities. But you've still got to manage your emotions, and what that really means to me is, I don't know, if I'm thinking about, I used to be a personal trainer, years ago, about a month. The way you would measure someone's fitness, someone's physical fitness, is to get them to the point where they're completely knackered, so get them on an exercise bike or a treadmill until they've reached maximum heart rate, and then measure the time it took for that heart rate to go back to a normal resting place. Okay, so that would measure the fitness. So if you're like me at the moment, a bit unfit, I go for a run or a bike ride and I'm sitting on the edge of the pavement feeling like I'm going to vomit for about 25 minutes, you can probably get an idea that you're not that fit in that situation, in that context. Now, if you work on that, obviously, over time, you can get to a point where you can get out of breath, you can keep going, your oxygen keeps going into your muscles and you can work through it. And to me, or recover quickly. To me, that is emotional resilience. That's emotional self-control that time. So if you're at work and you get a bit of bad news or something happens and something goes a bit pear-shaped, it's how long does it take you to get back to an effective place? And that doesn't mean, and this is really important, it doesn't mean that if something happens that's deeply traumatic, how long can you brush it off and carry on? That's not what it's about. This is more about the day-to-day challenges, the day-to-day emotional upheaval. How do we take that emotion, acknowledge it, see it for what it is, look at the reality around it, maybe not let ourselves get into a state before we know all the facts, and package it up and wait until it's an appropriate time where we do have time to sit and process that and maybe come up with some actions around that. There are many ways of doing this, and it's not about being an emotionally resilient person. I don't think anybody's an emotionally resilient person. I think we've got parts of us that we deal with that we're very good at, so we've got situations that we deal with very well, and I think most of us have got situations which we don't deal with very well. So again, if you'd have looked at me as a street performer years ago, you know, dying on my ass day in, day out, you know, failing, you'd have seen a resilient person. Okay, but that wasn't a resilient person, that was someone that was resilient in that context. If you'd have seen other parts of my life, you would have seen that I wasn't so resilient. I was a complete hypochondriac. I always thought I was dying at about the age of 19, 20. And I wasn't very good at dealing with any kind of emotional upheaval. So if I had an argument with someone, I would be in a complete mess until that argument was sorted. So I'd lose sleep. You know, I wouldn't be able to focus on my work, all that kind of stuff. You can't be like that when you're running a business, or you've got a team, or you're dealing with people every day, and those people could be your kids, or your partner, or your friends and your family. So this is really about building that ability. It's about going back to the self-awareness bit and saying, okay, which bits do I need to work on? You know, I do have to become more, be able to deal with that a little bit better. And importantly, what can I do to improve on that skill? And that's what I'm going to look at in the next videos and the next blog. What practical things can we do to sit down and say, I want to get better at that and build that? Because I've done it over years, and believe me, it works. It's a learnable thing. So if you don't want to miss the next videos, sign up, the link's below, or just check back on the YouTube channel just under Steve Faulkner. So thanks very much, have a great day.